We're good? So right here's your fluid. 202,000 miles. Dark as shit. Doesn't look like we got much metal in here. A little bit on the magnet right here. Bring it in on the magnet. Focus it. Oh yeah. Got some grime up in there. So we're gonna clean this up and we'll get back to you guys.
Peace. So what are you doing, Marcus?
Right now, taking off the gasket. This is a 16-year-old gasket, to the best of my knowledge. So this bitch is on here really good. So I'm gonna try to just wiggle that bitch out. We still gotta clean up this pan, so any little debris that flies in there, we will get to it. But as you can see, just the metal part is coming out. The rubber end of the gasket's still locked in there, so we're gonna have to scrape that out. So all this, I would assume, is metal. There's your 200,000 mileage metal right there. Well, hopefully the car still runs after this. Go ahead and show them the pan. Got the gasket out. Still gonna clean this up. Some of the rubber part stayed along the out from the inside, but we'll scrape that out right now. Cut it off. So we got the pan cleaned up. Magnet is clean. Put the magnet back. We're looking good. Gasket's cleaned up basically as much as it could be. Put a new one on. Put everything back together.
So what are you doing, Mr. Mechanic?
Nothing right now. We got our trusty helper in here. We're gonna go on to INPA or NCS Expert. Monitor the temperature. Right there we got the catch can for the output. We're gonna find out right now, make sure we got the output. There's oil all over the place. We just filled it up. Now we're gonna run through the gears, drain out the torque converter. After that, get it up to temperature. Make sure we got the proper amount in there. And we'll find out what happens. Turn it on. Turn it on, 5 seconds. So goddamn, here goes one. Big old fucking mess. That's alright, we'll figure this out. Woo. I don't want our camera getting fucked up now.
Let me know if I get in your way. I'll be in.
Oh no, you'll be fine, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. That's because you turned it off. Remember I told you? Until green fluid comes out. Alright guys, we'll... Go for maybe 5 seconds. pull it up with it? What do you mean go up to 120? That's the gearbox. That's the engine. The engine doesn't matter right now. Alright, you ready? Just go ahead and leave it in park and I'll tell you when to shut it off. But when you shut it off, try to leave it with the power on, okay? So just like look at once back towards you, you know what I mean? Fire it up. Yeah, just leave it in park. Turn it off. Good job, babe. Alright guys, so I just wanted to give you a little tip. This whole spill, I looked on, what was it, Real OEM. I found which one was supposedly the output line. That little Real OEM site really fucked me. So I switched it over, and the one I was using was the input. So now we're on the output. So that's where all this mess came from, because it started squirting out the cooler. So now, I don't know if you can see, it's coming out pretty red now. I'm going to run it through a little more one more time. What we got going on is this little pump right here. I forgot where I bought it from. Running it. I'm using Dex 4, whatever, D4. So the way I'm going to be able to tell is when I'm filling it is right now we are on INPA. And so that's what I'm going to use. You go to the, E46, hit your transmission, then go to, what is it? Let me go back so I can show you guys. Right here, go back. So we're going to go to status. Then we go to analog 1. And that right there is what I'm going to use to monitor the temperature. Now, from what I read on, it was a manufacturer's information, some website that I found where it had information particularly by GM. It said the best, well actually BMW as a matter of fact, it said the best way to tell when it is filled is to check it, make sure it gets up to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So that way it said that there's extra fluid and not less. So that's what we're going to do, 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So little tips and tricks for you guys. You want to make sure you have a big container, so that way you don't have to constantly be going through bottles because that fluid runs really quick. I don't know if you can notice that. And then every now and then, once you turn the car off, make sure you start pumping until we get some more fluid dripping out from the fill plug. So that way we know that the sump pan is pretty full and you're not gonna not have a chance of running the transmission pump dry for a little bit. So, little tips and tricks. Alright guys, also wanted to remind you on the BMW website that I was looking at, it did say to have the AC running, so we're making sure that the AC's on. So it said something about the fluid, making sure that the fluid gets everywhere. Now your catch can, you want to make sure you have a lot of fluid. I think I got about like 16 quarts to do a complete flush. I'm not done yet, you guys will see, I'll show you. Just cut out. So as I said, you want to make sure, I'll show you guys how much I have left when I'm done. Make sure you have a lot of catch cans available. So we got 1 gallon, 2 gallon, 3 gallons. We're moving on to the 4th right now with the other AZ bottle. Where's that? Right over here. This one will obviously be the last one because the fluid seemed like it was running pretty clean, but we shall find out right now. So we'll probably let this run for a little bit. I'm probably not going to let it run too long because I don't have that much more fluid left, and it seems like it was already running out clean, but we shall find out right now. So as you guys can see there, we got a nice solid stream of some of the new fluid. I'm just gonna try to clean the area off as best I can. Yeah, we're already running clean, so.
Are you a mechanic?
Well, I do what I can.
I need a...
Alright, so I don't know if you've seen, the fluid ran pretty red. I might just reuse some of this stuff, I'm not sure. Maybe. I mean, it looks like it's just the same fluid that we were pumping in. We'll see right now when I run it up to the temperature that it needs to go. And make sure that we're full. And we'll see right now. Alright guys, so the car is running. I did run out of fresh ATF, but this doesn't seem too black. Still pretty good. I only need a little bit of it. As you can see, we're already dripping. Well, can't really see on the camera. Sorry about that, but we are dripping. I can promise you that. And right now we're just waiting till we get it up to the right temperature so we can make sure that we're full. Get back to you guys. So we got it up to 95. I only used a very little bit of this. As you can see, it was still pretty clean. I mean, not too bad. We got a steady drip right now, so might have went a little too far. We are going to go ahead, probably put the fill plug on that bad boy. And that's a flush right there. I'll let you know how it guys runs. Made a mess. I'm going to torque down the fill plug down to spec. One thing I forgot to mention, guys, was that when I did run out of the ATF fluid and I used that Arizona bottle, I had just finished drinking it because we ran out of containers. So if the transmission does start slipping and we have some problems, I'm going to blame it on whatever residue was left of the Arizona. It's not going to be the transmission's fault or my fault. It will be the Arizona's fault. I will let you guys know how it drives, what happens. But, I mean, the amount of residue or residual juice or whatever that was in there, really minuscule compared to the amount of fluid that, the ATF fluid that was getting pumped in there. But that's what it is. Like I said, you want to make sure you have plenty of fluid. Probably ran through about 16 quarts till I started using the that catch can that I had. So maybe 17 on the safe side. This is the GM transmission 390R. Yeah, so there it is, guys. We got it up on the laptop, set it up, and now we're gonna torque it down and I'll let you know how she drives. Quick, guys, just wanted to show you. You guys are obviously probably going to have the same problems trying to get the fill plug on and off as I did. What I did was go ahead and get the Torx 45 head up in there, and then I had the little what is that, the 12-point end of the wrench on there, and you can easily move it to the front and rotate it and slide it back so you get a grip on it. And then the way I torqued it down was went ahead and got the 8mm head of a hex and obviously attached it to the torque wrench here. But that was the same way I took it off. I wasn't able to do it by hand, so I went ahead and grabbed a wrench. I didn't use the torque wrench then, but I just grabbed this head, put it on, and then popped that bitch off. And real quick, because I know you guys are going to hate on my Arizona catch can, I did clean off the first 3 that I used, because obviously I was prepared to maybe reuse some of that fluid. But when it got down to the last one, I didn't want to, go ahead and ruin all the fresh fluid I just put in there. Otherwise, I felt it would kind of be pointless. So that's why I grabbed the one that was more closer to the red color that we were dumping in there. Alright, but there it is. Torque this bitch down. As you guys heard it. There she goes. We're all set. New fluid, new filter, new gasket, new fill and drain, because that's what it comes with the kit from you guys know where. I don't need to give them no sponsorship. Alright, fellas. Alright, everybody. So this is after everything's put back together. The fluid, we're all done with the transmission flush. Put the cooler lines back on and everything. So we took it for a spin, and before I took it far, you know, just drove it around town, and before I went out of town, I wanted to take a look at the lines to make sure that they're sealed and nothing's leaking. And a good thing I did, because if you take a look, let me see if you guys can document that. So right down there, you might be able to see on the, what is the output line right there, that first one to your right. It looks like we do got a drip right there. I don't know if you guys might be able to see it. Sure, you see that little puddle there, and a little puddle on that side. So, might take it around for a spin, a little further, see if it gets worse or not. It doesn't seem like it's dripping too heavy, but we want to be safe rather than sorry. Alright guys, quick update to that little leak we had going on. I cleaned off the pan, the belly pan, so that way when I put it back on, I'll be able to tell if there is any leaks. Now, if you look down here, I already wiped everything off, which I probably shouldn't have, so I can show you guys, but it did seem like we are, let me see if I can get to focus, kind of leaking from right there on each one, because I did take them both off because I thought that one was the one that pumped from the transmission, which is actually opposite. That's the one that was pumping from the transmission. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop them both back off, and I'm going to have my helper hold one end of the hose and plug her finger in with the cooler. I'm going to try to wrap it with some plumber's tape on each side. I'm going to see if I can't get into the O-ring, maybe pop that bad boy off and send someone to go see if they can pick up another one, because I know I've read, you know, sometimes the O-rings can go bad. We shall see what happens. I doubt I'm going to be able to get to the O-ring, because there's going to be fluid up in there pouring out of the cooler and from the hose obviously as well. So we shall see what happens. I'll let you guys know what the update if we keep on leaking after we hook it up with plumber tape. Guys, so we use the picks. Put the flashlight on. All those orange picks over there. We use those to get the old O-rings out of the lines here. So we got those ones out of the lines. I wish I had those O-rings. I think I might have threw them away. I can't fucking find them anywhere. So, car's warming up right now. Looks like they might be a little bit of seepage, but they're not really dripping yet. So I'm letting the car warm up. We're gonna find out. I did lose, not a serious amount of transmission fluid, but it's not the easiest thing getting those fucking O-rings out. As you can see here, there's a bottle. Try to catch as much of it as I can, and I can't find those O-rings I took out anywhere. So if you guys are looking for replacement size O-rings for the transmission lines, this was the closest I could find, which was this number 11. That's the ones that I put in here. It took 2 black ones, and then on the output line, the first one to the right, this one right here, behind the O-rings, there was like another green O-ring. It looked like that one wanted to come out. I didn't take it out, obviously, because I wasn't going to go back to the store and try to find them. But as you can see, we threw those new O-rings in there, and so far we're not seeing a heavy drip. Probably not as much maybe as it was. I'm going to put the belly pan back on eventually, and we'll see if we get the same amount of drip that we had or not. I got these lines secured on there, so I'm not too worried about them maybe like falling out. I know I read a horror story of some guy. They fell out on him, but yeah, we'll see what's up. As you can see, that one really sticks out compared to this one. I don't know what that is all about. I don't know why it does that, but it's very odd. So we're gonna let it heat up, and we'll see what's up. I'm gonna roll it through the gears right now. So I'm doing this solo, go ahead and running through the gears. For you guys who don't believe me, there's your odometer right there. Probably bought this car with like 165,000 miles on it, and I've been running it ever since. I barely changed the transmission fluid because I was barely going through all the maintenance stuff, you know, dealing with the cooling system, went through the brake fluid. What else was it? Did the differential oil not that long ago. And, yeah. So, and then one day I realized, I was like, you know what, man, I really need to change the transmission fluid. And just like you guys, you know, I went around a couple shops, got the same response. Oh, too high of a mileage, you don't want to do it. Oh, it's a sealed box. Oh, it's got lifetime fluid, you know. If it's not broke, don't try to fuck with it. I didn't think that was too smart of an idea, as if I'm trying to, you know, drive all over, across cities and, you know, going on long trips. Why would you want that old ass fluid in there? It doesn't seem like a smart idea. So now we're just gonna go ahead and run through these gears, see if we got any leaks down there. Looks like it's a lot better with those O-rings. So before you guys even try to think about changing those lines out, look into that number 11 O-ring. That was the best size I could find to fit it. It did look like they were a little too thin, but then I figured maybe it might be because the O-rings I took out of the hose maybe gotten flattened up from them being in there for so long. So that might be a reason. But so eventually I'm gonna have to check that transmission fluid again, because, you know, we don't want to be low on transmission fluid. That's not good. So we're just gonna go ahead and let this gearbox warm up. So I came back and checked it. I'm gonna give it some gas right now, so get the RPMs up. It doesn't look like we're doing too bad. I mean, it's not really any drift. I mean, not that I can tell right now, but there's no nothing forming to where it's like a little bubble of oil and it starts dripping. But so we should be good. We're gonna find out. So she's getting closer and closer to that operating temperature. We'll go ahead and check what the coolant's running at. You see, if I can get it up to like 100, then I'll know that the ATF's pretty high up there. I skipped it. And that should be a good little test run before we hit the streets. I don't want them hoses to pop off or anything like that. I know there was something on the forums where a guy, his hose popped off on him when he was mobbing it. That can't be good. Give it some gas in neutral. Just because I can. Alright, let's go find out. Look at all these guys try to tell me how to wear a mask. Tell them to fuck off. Oh, let me get that. Keep on there. Yeah, so we're not really dripping. I mean, it looks like it's a success story. You guys got a problem, change those O-rings. I'll give you the size right now. I went and got those at Home Depot, the ones I got, number 11. But, yeah, so I'm going to stick around for a little longer. Like I said, the green, there's like another, I don't know, weird O-ring there. There was like a clear one and then the green one in there. And I didn't see a clear one, but there was a green one in there, and that one wanted to come out. I was not going to try to take that out and figure out where the hell that one went. Fuck that. Try to find another one of those. I mean, it was hard enough for me to find these O-rings that fit there. without being such a scaredy cat about getting the right size. So right here, this is the size that I got. This was the best fit I could find. I wish I had saved the other ones. I might have thrown them away with all the chaos of these fucking cops showing up. One of them looked pretty bad. It looked like it was already